Hey friends, welcome to another installment of Strange Planet. Strap in for a mind-bending dive into a world where time travel isn't just science fiction, it's a covert weapon. Join us as Navy veteran and thriller author Nicklois Leonard unveils the secrets of his Quantum Effect series, a gripping saga that questions the origins of COVID-19, exposes shadow agencies, and blends black ops with biblical prophecy. Is his fiction a warning of truths too dangerous to be told outright? Don't miss this explosive conversation that might just rewrite your understanding of reality. Nicklois Leonard is a 25-year Navy veteran from rural Ohio and the mastermind behind the Quantum Effect series, a thrilling blend of military sci-fi, covert ops, and spiritual prophecy. Drawing on his extensive military experience and fascination with science fiction, Leonard crafts reality-based novels that probe the edges of conspiracy, advanced technology, and global power. His debut, The Quantum Effect Mission COVID-19, and its sequel, Snakes in the House, have earned Literary Titan Book Awards for their cinematic pacing and provocative exploration of time travel, Area 51, and shadow networks. A corporate professional by day, Leonard's disciplined, mission-driven storytelling challenges readers to question the hidden forces shaping our world. Hey, Nick, welcome aboard. Welcome to Strange Planet. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on board, Richard. I'm doing great today. It's a lovely Friday afternoon here in Houston, Texas, where it's a little hot outside.
All right, let me ask you, are you a whistleblower, maybe masquerading as a writer of fiction?
That's a good question, but no, actually, I'm not. It's I haven't had the CIA knock on my door yet, but maybe after book three comes out, you never know.
Your Quantum Effect series, it uses time travel technology as a covert military tool. How plausible do you think such technology is today?
Well, I think that it has a lot of potential. I mean, if you look at the quantum physics around the whole thing with the halogen collider and how all the physics works at the quantum level, I think that we're probably closer to having things of that nature than what people realize. I mean, you see a lots of stories out there about various things like UFOs. You've seen whistleblowers and stuff out there about things that are happening now that nobody would really believe. And I really do think that we probably are having some of these things going on as we speak. I mean, it's very plausible. Quantum physics is getting more and more leaps and bounds in technology and knowledge throughout our universities and throughout the world, especially using AI.
Why did you choose Area 51 as the headquarters for your quantum space-time continuum command? Are there specific rumors or declassified reports that inspired this setting? Specifically, we know about Area 51
Yeah.
and UFOs, but time travel, quantum space-time continuum, that sort of thing. Any declassified reports that might have inspired this setting?
No real declassified reports other than, they use that as a lot of DARPA type projects. There's a lot of secret projects that go on in Area 51. My biggest thing was I needed to have a place that they could operate out of the public realm. And Area 51 is the perfect place to do that because of the security, because of the isolation, and it allows them to function outside the normal media. It allows them to do what they're supposed to do, and or actually they can go out and do it without being hassled about it. They can get things done, look at things, employ technology, and kind of move forward from there. So that's kind of why I used Area 51.
So just tell us a little bit more about the Quantum Space-Time Continuum Command, which is really at the center of the Quantum series.
Yep. Okay, I established that towards the end of the book, actually. And actually, if you start off in the first chapter, the command's already set up. Commander Maxwell and Master Chief Mitchell, they're looking over missions they're getting ready to go out and do, and they discover SEAL Team 2, which is who he's in charge of, gets destroyed in a mission. So they start panicking and they want to go save the team. So they actually test the quantum transporter in chapter 1 to go and help the team. And then from there, it jumps back in time. So it's kind of like the Pearl Harbor movie, where they're laying there on the battlefield and they're having a discussion, Ben Affleck and them, and then the next thing you know, it says a year earlier or 2 years earlier, and they travel back, in time. That's what a lot of my book is about. We'll be at present, and we'll go back in time, and we'll look at things, and we'll show how things build up over time.
So the first book in the series, Mission COVID-19, it suggests the pandemic might have been a deliberate operation. Any real world evidence or theories that helped you shape this narrative?
Well, I just knew that, based on some of my own knowledge and some of the research that I've done, it had to come from Wuhan. And I believed President Trump back when he said it. And I decided, I'm going to write about it. Now, how it got released, I mean, if you look in my book, I have a really creative way of how the virus got released. I think the CIA now came out with a report that said that it was employees that was contaminated that went to hospitals, how it actually got released. But I was very creative in how I got mine released. And, it worked. It got the same effect. But that's kind of how I decided to launch it.
The book implicates agencies like the CIA and the World Health Organization and Big Pharma, of course, in a time war conspiracy. Just tell us a little bit about that. What does that mean, a time war conspiracy?
Well, there's a lot of things in play. If you look at what's going on today, you've heard about the world elite. There was the big forum of 2030 where things were supposed to be perfect, and all your billionaires, they want control. They want food domination. They want medical control. They want to tell you to, yep, go to that nasty apartment and live there and be happy because everybody else is living in a nasty apartment. Well, I kind of took that to the level of how do we get there? Well, COVID-19 was the perfect way to start getting there. We all know, I think, from the most part, that COVID-19 was kind of like a drill of how the world, their governments would react to such a pandemic. And you saw what type of structure occurred here in the United States. I mean, people panicked. I mean, people wore masks, they wouldn't leave their homes, and they turned people in. It was horrible. So you think about if they took that as a drill and said, well, this is how we can do it, how else can they use a disaster? Folks who have conspiracy or folks who want to do something bad to you, they always take advantage of the situation. So in the first book, we talk about where the director of the FDA starts working back in, I think it's 2015, starts working with his boss, and they work with the Wuhan lab and start doing what they call functional testing. So what does that mean? That means that the United States was providing them with a virus for them to do function testing on and then report back. In the meantime, the pharmaceutical companies was meeting with the FDA trying to determine, okay, well, if we have an RNA type virus out there, how do we take advantage of it and make billions of dollars? So this is where the first government agency and the pharmaceuticals come into play. They start having meetings. They come up with a vaccine, this mRNA, the COVID vaccine that you have now, because it's all gene manipulated. And it kind of goes from there. And as you go through the book, the first book is more a little bit about the pharmaceutical companies and the FDA, but it's more focused on Commander Maxwell and his SEAL team going over and rescuing the doctor who theoretically created the virus and bringing them back to the United States. That's kind of where the main piece of the book goes. Now in book 2, you learn a lot more about the Wuhan facility. You learn a lot more about the virologist, Dr. Finn, who actually manipulated and created the virus, and how it spreads and how it works. And you start finding it. You remember the movie out there, it's called The Blacklist, like it's a TV movie?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how they had with their what they call their cabal. Well, in book 2, I introduce a group called the Nebula Initiative. So it's a world type organization. It's a dark money organization. It's setting up this global control type group. And there's a point man for that, and his name's Ben Wallace, and he's introduced in book 2. And he starts showing how things can be manipulated. And he has got his hands in everything. If you think the guy in the Blacklist had his hands into everything, yeah, Ben Wallace is just like that. He has his hands in everything. And book 3 really comes out, The Shadows of Time really comes out and explains all the deep. I mean, he's in the NSA, he's in the CIA, he's in the military, the White House. He's everywhere. And it's a really exciting because I took the COVID-19 and just expanded it.
Right,
And
right.
there's a lot of different directions. You know, book 2 introduced more characters, book 3 introduces more characters, and I've taken it to where it's not just COVID-19. We're going to start looking at other things like 9/11. We're going to look at other events in history to see, you know, is it real or is it Memorex? You know, was the moon landing real? Is it Memorex? You know what I'm saying? So this whole series is going to just take off.
I'm not sure if you heard this comment. A couple of months ago, there was a White House advisor by the name of Michael Kratsios, and he set off quite a viral social media storm when he said, we can manipulate time and space. And you couple that with a statement from Donald Trump. I don't know if he was referring to the same thing, but he basically said we have unbelievable technology like you wouldn't even believe what we have. Mm-hmm. Nobody has anything like what we have. When you put those two together, we can manipulate time and space. And some people have said, no, he was speaking metaphorically. I don't know what he meant by that. But it does seem to point to exactly what you're writing about, time travel as a covert weapon. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I completely agree, Richard. I think there's more out there than what our government is letting us know. I mean, think about it. When the stealth fighter first came out, people thought it was a UFO. Mm-hmm. I mean, who could imagine that a triangle could fly? You know, and I do really think that we have more technology than 99% of us know. I mean, look at AI, what we're just seeing. Look at what weapons. I mean, look at the weapon that was just executed over in Iran, a 30,000-pound bomb that could go almost 300 feet before it detonates. Think of that technology, how it was delivered, the logistics behind it, the planning. I mean, they know a lot more than what they tell us.
Would that include, do you think, manipulating timelines?
I think it's very plausible. I mean, I can't confirm it, but just from listening to, like you said, that statement and then listening to President Trump, he kind of confirmed it. But you could say it's metaphorically, but I think he was kind of telling us there's more out there than what we all realize, and he's just now finding out about it.
Have you ever received cryptic feedback from military or intelligence insiders suggesting your book might be hitting too close to the truth?
No, actually, I've been quite surprised. The only thing that happened to me was I got banned on TikTok when I did my book trailer because I mentioned Wuhan and the lab, and they said I violated their guidelines, which I said, well, no other social media platform banned me. But again, you know, TikTok is ran by the CCP, so there you go.
Yeah. So you talk about technology 20 years ahead of what's public. Are there specific advancements like quantum computing or directed energy weapons you suspect might already be in use?
Oh, I think so, Richard. I mean, you think about it. We have quantum computers now. So the next thing in the world of quantum physics is quantum entanglement, which basically is end-to-end real-time communications and no distance. I mean, there is no distance separating. It's instant communications from one end of the galaxy to the other. You've got laser weapons now being mounted on our warships. I mean, if they're just now mounting those laser weapons, think about what other things they could be putting on there. Next thing you know, maybe they've got plasma weapons. Maybe they've got quantum displacement weapons. I mean, the thing it's quantum physics is just so outstanding. It's just so vast, and the things that you can do at the quantum level.
Do you think modern technology is fulfilling ancient prophecies in ways we don't fully understand?
I believe so. I think the Bible talks about spreading the gospel all throughout all countries and all worlds so everybody hears it. And we're pretty much there now with global news networks. And if you look at a lot of the movies like Left Behind and different folks that talk about end times, it's information technology that gets you. And what is the biggest source of intel technology right now is AI. AI is Big Brother. AI can monitor cameras. AI can plot any person around. You got facial recognition. You have bioidentification through your iris. I mean, there's all kind of things that AI is doing right now. I mean, you remember the Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, they have android robots now that's doing quality checks in some of your automotive lines and assembly lines. I think that's phenomenal, but that's just all they're showing us. What's behind it in the military line? What's behind it from a governmental perspective, of control? I mean, they're already, they already talk about chemtrails. They talk about nanobites, about how they're controlling different things with the little tiny machines. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot more out there than what they're telling us, Richard. I really do.
Some say UFO phenomenon, getting us back to Area 51, that the UFO issue is just a smokescreen for ultra-classified U.S. weapon programs. Do your books lean into that theory at all?
My books do not get into that right now. Right now, it's been mostly government infiltration of the Nebula Initiative. It's more into the COVID, trying to wrap up the COVID virus, and basically folks that are intertwined in the government that are not so good people. I am going to start venturing out more. AI is going to be a part of book 4. We're going to look at the destruction of New York. I talk about that. They look ahead in 2035 and New York's been destroyed, but that's all they really say about it. So I do want to go into that aspect of it from either an AI perspective. Maybe it's a nanobite, maybe it's a civil war. It's hard to say. There's all kind of ways to take, this book series and use the quantum transporter and go see things.
You layer in again this end times imagery, beasts and deception and war, but you frame it in a tech forward kind of way. But do you believe we're seeing revelation through a digital lens now?
I think we're starting to see definitely signs of it. I mean, like I said, the Antichrist, he takes control. Well, how do you do that? Through AI. Dominant, everything's layered together. Your financials, the economies, the government, the one world government, the one world currency. That's all possible under AI. And that's why I think you have to be real careful about how AI has moved forward. I mean, Elon Musk talks about it. A lot of different folks talk about AI and what it could do for humanity, or how it can damage humanity. So I think we're right there on the verge.
And you suggest that spiritual forces might be involved in global warfare and secret tech projects. Is that symbolic, or are you literally suggesting there's an unseen dimension involved here?
I believe there's an unseen dimension, Richard, because there's been several folks that have come out that are whistleblowers that say that they've been working with what they call aliens underneath the Arizona desert and the different places around the country. I mean, there's this one doctor, I can't remember his name, but he come right out, did a YouTube video, and it was only out for like a couple weeks and it was removed. But he said, yeah, we worked with an alien. They're here to help us. They're here to help move our technology forward. Is it true? Again, that's, just the things that you hear. Is it really aliens, or is it, the realm of the demonic? I mean, that's always a good question, because there is a supernatural war going out there between good and evil.
Your novels feel like they're declassifying something piece by piece. Do you see yourself as a kind of fictional truth teller?
I try to write things where it's believable. I have my own vision, and I try to make sure that folks understand where I'm coming from. I make it believable. I use the current technology that I think is out there that speaks for itself. I mean, if you remember the old Stargate series?
Oh, yes.
With Dean Anderson. Mm-hmm. Samantha Carter, she's the whiz kid, and she'll start yakking all the different technology, and Colonel O'Neill just sits there and says, okay, just give me the 2-sentence version. I don't need the 2-hour lecture. So I'm trying to do the 2-minute version instead of giving all the big technical stuff, just to make it believable, because I think it really is believable. I think that we're doing things out there, Richard, that most of us don't know about.
Right. I mean, let me ask you it another way. Do you see your novels as a way to smuggle uncomfortable truths into the public's consciousness under the guise of fiction?
I think so. I think that by the way I told the story about the COVID-19 virus and how we use current technology and our military to accomplish a goal, and how we're going to move forward in the deception with the global elite, and how how they are making decisions for the rest of us that we don't like, and I'm trying to kind of go in there and change that attitude. I'm trying to make it so if you think about it, people want to see good versus evil, and they want to see good people win. The largest box office movie that was out there in the last 2 years was Maverick. Why? Because it was patriotic and it was
Oh,
good versus evil,
oh,
right?
Top Gun Maverick.
Top
Yes.
Gun, Top Gun Maverick. And so people want to see that. They don't, they're tired of seeing the bad guys win. They want to have faith. They want to be patriotic. They want to see the good people win. And that's kind of where I'm trying to strive for. I'm trying to show the darkness and let the goodness win.
Well, speaking of faith, how has your personal faith shaped the way you portray war, technology, moral dilemmas in your stories?
Well, I'm a Christian, Richard. I mean, I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and God is the Father. And I still look at the Bible from like the book of Revelations and look at kind of where we're at now and think that, yeah, we are on the cusp of those end times because of our technology, because of the global reach. I mean, Jesus talked at one time about, he's like, look, the world will have one government, the world will have one currency, the world will fall away from him and run to a man who is the Antichrist, who thinks that he can do everything. And I'm kind of starting to show the demonic side of things from a worldview perspective. I just don't call it that. And maybe, as we get more into the series, you'll start to see a little bit more of the darkness that's out there that we're trying to fight. But right now, I'm just getting it started. But yes, you brought up a very good point.
You're familiar with the Mandela Effect?
Yes.
What do you think about that? Some people believe, and I think there may be something to it. I mean, that's evidence that someone is playing around with the timeline. So, for example, if people give an example, I guess the spelling of J.C. Penney. People don't remember it being spelled with a second E, Penney, although it is, but they swear up and down that at one time it was spelled without that E. There's also the classic example of the Fruit of the Loom underwear logo, where people swear up and down that it used to feature I guess what they call a cornucopia with the fruit kind of spilling out of the cornucopia. Fruit of the Loom absolutely denies that. What do you think? Does that tie into your book at all? Do you think that may be evidence that timelines are being manipulated?
I mean, it could be. It's got a lot of potential. I mean, it's hard to say, Richard. I mean, we can take a lot of things and say all the pros and cons, and you can make it to your perspective, and you can come up with, well, here's why I believe it, and somebody else can come up with a list that says, well, here's why I don't, and contradict everything you talked about. And it's somewhere in the middle. And I think that there is some type of timeline manipulation going on out there. I know it can be sliced and diced. I mean, in the quantum fields, that's what it does. It slices and dices time, and you can move forward or backward. I mean, they've been able to prove that in a lab, but we're talking large equipment. You're talking a mouse, a rat, vice a person, and using it as like a weapon or intelligence gathering. But I think it's all very possible, especially with the different technology that we have out there, especially how we create power. I mean, we're getting into where we're going to be having fusion power here soon, and I think that's going to really unleash a lot more technology.
Beyond the entertainment aspect of the Quantum Effect series, what's the one truth or warning you want readers to take away?
Well, that's a good question. I think don't trust your government. because what you are listening to may not be true. But I think that the media today has already kind of done that to themselves with the Trump derangement syndrome. It doesn't matter what he does; it's bad, And we've never in the past presidencies have we had this type of reaction, other than his first presidency. He can do something great, and they don't care. And I guess that's kind of where I want to get back to the series, is where I want them to do good things. I want them to be known for good things, destroy evil, make the world a better place.
If let's assume for a minute that the technology exists, we're living in a timeline manipulated period of history. What if that's the case? What can ordinary people do to, let's say, reclaim the truth?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm not sure I have an answer for that, Richard. I think that we live our lives the way we live it. We keep our faith, we keep our morals, we raise our children and our grandchildren and love our spouses and move on. And if it comes out, it comes out.
How do we get a copy of the Quantum Effect series? We've got 2 books completed. You're working on a third.
Yes, sir. I got, you can go to Amazon under Nicklois Leonard Books, and both copies are available, hard copy, paperback, and Kindle. And the third book, The Shadows of Time, will be coming out here in probably by Christmas. And it wraps up the trilogy for the COVID-19, and then we start working on other aspects of conspiracies, such as 9/11, the destruction of New York City, etc. So we're going to take the team and grow it, and kind of like Stargate, have different teams going out and investigating different things, and it's going to be exciting, definitely exciting.
The Quantum Effect series, Nicklois Leonard. Nick, thank you so much. Great to meet you.
Thank you, Richard.
A new Richard Syrett's Strange Planet drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.